Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those of you that have joined us from the UK. So it's a lovely, lovely afternoon in Australia at the moment. The weather's turned to be beautiful and sunny, and I expect those of you that are in the UK are probably a bit chilly this morning. And I know it's very early for you, so thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, everybody. So before I really get into the webinar at the moment, can I just check that everybody can hear me? If you'd like to put your hand up, you've got a little hand button. If you click on that, that will show me that you can hear me fine. Okay, that's great. I've still got a few more people coming in as well. So just settle yourselves down and be prepared to learn something new today. The diet industry is a huge industry, and really what I'm going to do today is I'm going to kind of debunk some of the myths that are out there regarding the diet industry and how we should lose weight. Now, everybody knows calories in versus calories out, but what a pain in the rear when you're having to count those calories all the time. So it's going to be an interesting webinar, how to lose weight, live clean and feel great in 14 days. So just checking that you're all on the right webinar. So my name is Sunni Barnett, and um, I'm a weight loss coach. I've been coaching people how to lose weight for a number of years, particularly in the UK. And I'm not a health guru. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just a kind of normal person that has had her own issues with weight. And luckily enough, I've never been very, very overweight, but I did put on a lot of weight after I had my daughter. And it wasn't really until I looked back on photographs that I realized how much weight I did actually put on. And it wasn't until I came to Australia that I'd sort of lost that weight myself. But I was one of these people that when you've got your clothes on, you can kind of get away with it. So, really, what I'm teaching you today is from the point of view of someone that has been able to maintain their weight in a particular way. And what I've noticed is over the years, when I've been working with my clients and also when I've been out with friends or family that are overweight, that people that have a propensity to be overweight eat very differently to the way that I do. And in fact, it's almost, I almost get criticized in a way because people say to me, "Oh, is that going to be enough for you? Are you sure you don't want more?" And they're trying to encourage me to eat more. But my body has been conditioned in such a way that actually I don't need to eat the amounts of foods that other people do eat, which tend to be overweight. So we have a hashtag here, hashtag 14 days to weight loss. And if you've liked this webinar, just go onto your social networks and put in the fact that you've been on this amazing webinar today, hashtag 14 days to weight loss. And this is this is about the fact that you will actually start to lose weight in 14 days. Now, I'm not saying to you that if you've got 20 kilos to lose, or I don't know, if you've got 10 stone to lose, then you're not going to do that in 14 days. That's unrealistic. But what you will do is you will achieve some weight loss in the next 14 days and probably even in the next 7 days. And you're going to do that simply by following some rules or a four-step formula that I'm going to give to you. So let's just go through and see how we're going to do that. So here I am. This is me, and I'm a lifestyle coach. So I actually coach people not only to lose weight, but also with things like confidence, self-esteem, also with the laws of abundance. And I run beautiful retreats around the world, which all have a yoga base to them, yoga and meditation, because I really am of a belief that meditation helps you in every area of your life. And I know that some of you on here are groaning and you're saying, "I can't meditate." And I was one of those people that said they can't meditate. I actually used to be one of these people that would sit down, and the minute I sat down and the teacher started talking about just notice your breath, breathe in and breathe out, I started hyperventilating. And I just felt very, very conscious of my breath. Also, I noticed that my eyes would flicker. They'd just be kind of batting up and down. And then my mind would be going off 10 to the dozen, and I'd be thinking not just about the shopping, I'd be thinking about conversations that I had with people or conversations that I'm perhaps going to have. I'd be thinking about my business, I'd be thinking about my friends, all sorts of things. But it takes a while. And trust me, you can actually get to the point of meditating. And now for me, it improves every area of my life, my health, my well-being, my spirituality, and it is part of my everyday routine. And don't worry, I'm not saying to you that that has to be part of your everyday routine, but if you do work with me, which I'm sure many of you will, that will be something that we will have to look at. We'll be looking at ways to meditate and different types of meditation, because there are many, many different ways in which you can meditate. And you know what? You can even meditate just walking the dog, for instance. So if you go for a nice walk with the dog, you can just shut your mind off to everything else that's external and just concentrate on the fact that you're putting one foot in front of the other, and actually even count your steps. And that's a form of meditation in itself. Okay, so most importantly, how about you? Okay, so let's just find out about you. So what I'd like you to do is just type in for me in the question box. So you actually have a box on your control panels where you can type in where you're from first. That'll be great. Now, if you can't see the question box, you probably can see a red arrow pointing to the left of your screen. If you click on that red arrow, that will show you your control panel and will enable you to talk to me. So this is your webinar, and this is very much an interactive webinar today as well. So there'll be some things that I'm going to get you to do. There's some things I'm going to get you to try. And what I want you to do is to be open to these ideas. So can you be open to those ideas? Just put your hands up if that's okay with you. So while you're putting your hands up, I've got some people here from Sydney, from Queensland. I've got London. Hi Eileen, nice to see you, and thank you for waking up nice and early. So people from all over the place. So thank you very much. So just type in for me, what are you hoping to get out of this webinar? You've obviously come here for a reason. And whilst it is specifically relating to weight loss, a lot of the things that I shall be teaching you here are about lifestyle changes. If you make some simple changes in your lifestyle will improve. So it might be something simple like getting rid of a craving. And it's not only overweight people that have cravings, it's also thin people that have cravings, which actually probably give them headaches, for instance. Okay, so if you type in what you're hoping to get from the webinar, that will be very useful. And also if you've been on a diet before. Okay, and you can type in what type of diet you've been on. I remember many years ago, I decided to go on a diet, and I have been on quite a few diets actually myself. And this particular diet, and this was a long, long time ago, I don't even know if it's still there, it's called the Hollywood diet. And I remember going on to this diet, and it was specifically for the first 2 days, you had to eat pineapple and only pineapple. So I remember very diligently chopping up the pineapple into chunks and put it into a little container so that I could just go and get the pineapple and eat the pineapple whenever I fancied it. And I was literally just sitting there eating it. And of course, pineapple is delicious. It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Really tasty. It's very sweet, and it was just so nice. Well, let me tell you, by the end of day one, my mouth was sore. I had ulcers. I was sick of the sight of pineapple. I was sick of the taste of pineapple. And you know what? To be honest, all these years later, I don't think I've ever touched a pineapple since. And trust me, the diet didn't last. I couldn't do that. So there's all types of diets out there. There's Slim Fast. There's anything that's calorie counting. Things like good days, bad days, red days, green days. There's injections, there's pills, there's potions. There's even the extreme things like, what are they called? Gastric bands. those sorts of things. So there's a lot of things that are kind of quick fixes for you out there as well. So tell me, what has stopped you? What has stopped the diet from working for you? That's the other thing that we want to know. Okay, so while you're typing that in, this is what to expect from today's webinar. We're going to talk about why diets don't actually work, and we're going to completely do some myth busting. We're going to talk about habits you've created. So these are the habits that have actually stopped you from achieving your ideal weights. And many of you on here, I know that you've been on diets, you've probably been really successful with those diets to a certain degree. And then something will happen, like let's think a special event will come up, and you'll say, oh, well, I'll just relax for this event, or perhaps a trauma has happened in your life and you turn to food for emotional comfort. So these are habits that I can teach you today how to get rid of, so that you're going to be successful and you will actually get to your ideal weight. I'm going to share with you 6 simple steps to massive success. And we're going to create an environment for you where there are no more excuses. And it's really, really easy to sit and make those excuses for yourself. Okay, well, it could be things like, well, I don't go out like I used to anyway, so why do I need to bother? It might be that some of these excuses, some of the clients that I've worked with, I remember one client getting very, very upset. It was very sad, actually. She got really upset because she said, I want to lose weight, but I don't know if I want to lose weight enough, because if I do, then my husband will find me attractive again. And so what that did is it opened up a whole new area of thought processing that we had to go through, because in a way she wanted to stop her husband from finding her attractive. So what was it that she got out of that? So we had to kind of delve a bit deeper. So sometimes we can make excuses, and we can even kid ourselves that we're not making excuses. Okay, so the work that you do with me, I will be coaching you through, and I will be really drilling down into your mind to find out the real reasons. There'll be an opportunity to join a community of like-minded people on Facebook. So what we're doing is we're setting up a Facebook group to allow you the opportunity to basically pose all of your questions. This is going to be a place where you've got accountability as well. So whether you join the program or not, you can join in the community as well. Okay, so let's look at some of the habits that you're currently in. And one of those habits is that you'll be perhaps an obsessive dieter. Okay, so put up your hands, those of you here you would consider yourself to be an obsessive dieter. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. So listen, this is the whole thing about being an obsessive dieter. We always think that the next diet is going to be the answer, the key, the pot at the end of the rainbow. Okay, a diet basically is any system of eating that attempts to exert external control over what, where, when, and how much you eat. All right, and now this is why it's not realistic, because what you're doing is you're allowing that external control over you and your own choices. So it completely disempowers you. Okay, now diet's got a bad name over the years, of course, and there is actually a really good reason for that. Now, the reason is that there is some scientific research that shows that 90% of people who attempt to lose weight by dieting actually fail. 90%, that's huge. Okay, so for every 10 of you, that's 9 of you that are going to fail on this webinar today. Okay. When I've worked with clients and they tell me about the weight that they've lost on this great new diet, they're very excited. I say to them, come back and tell me about it in 6 months' time. And if they're still happy about the weight and their diet in 6 months, I'm ready to listen. But at that starting point, there's no point in listening to that, because from my experience working with my clients, I've known that they have been successful for limited amounts of time. But remember, the diet is exerting external control over the way that you think, what you eat, where you are, and how much you eat. Okay, so too many diets give too many results, too few results. There's probably there's probably about 30,000 different diet books currently in print, and the problem is that it gets confusing, doesn't it? I mean, how many of you here have been confused by all the contradictory information that's out there? It's quite often misguided information, and you've got to remember that the diet industry is a multi-billion diet weight loss factory, basically. So it's not just the diets that don't work. Many of them are actually just a con. And there's lots of celebrities. You often see celebrities, and unfortunately, you know what? As much as we don't want to do this, we are affected by what happens in the kind of celebrity world. We'll see someone advertising something, and they're endorsing the latest fad diet, for instance. And I'm not sure what the truth is in that, to be honest, because in most instances they've not actually done that diet. They've probably got a whole team of people around them that are really encouraging them, perhaps to lose weight in a more sensible way. But how many times have you seen a celebrity where you've gone, wow, she looks fantastic, and then a few months later they've gone and piled all that weight back on? Okay. So what I want you to do today, this is really the first instruction that I'm going to give to you. And, if you want to lose weight, you want someone in your team that's going to be firm with you. And this is one of the first things that I'm going to say to you. I want you right this minute to forget about dieting forever. All right. Diets are training courses in how to get fat and feel like a failure. So how many of you here feel like you're a failure? Okay, so lots of you feel like you're a failure. Now, the reason is because the diet industry sets you up to fail. Remember what we said, you've got this external control over what, where, when, and how much you eat. So you're not really learning how your body functions. You're not really taking care of the day-to-day requirements of your body. Okay? There was a study that was done in the Second World War by a biological researcher called Ansel Keys, and he found that reducing people's diet to a state of semi-starvation produced symptoms of irritability, loss of endurance, and obsessive behaviour around food, including but not limited to lying, hoarding, and stealing. Now, if you think about yourselves, when you actually go onto a diet, because you're actually restricting the things that you can eat, that puts you into this state of stress. When the body is in a state of stress, it's less likely that you're going to lose weight as quickly as you would like to lose weight. So the 3-month period after this semi-starvation was ended and the people could eat whatever they wanted, their obsession with food continued. So actually it didn't get less, it continued. So those people that were on this study ate 8 times as much food as they had done before the study began. So does that sound familiar to you? That when you finish a diet, it's almost like your body completely relaxes, you go back to your old habits and you eat all the foods that you're not supposed to be eating, and of course you pile on the pounds, and you find that you've actually increased the weight that you were before you even started on that particular diet. And so you end up with this yo-yo thing. Okay, so the second thing that we're going to talk about is emotional eating. So who here would consider that you are an emotional eater? Okay, now emotional eating is probably, there's more people that have put your hands up. So emotional eating is probably the biggest thing that I deal with when I'm working with clients. They actually turn to food because they're feeling unhappy or sad about something. So they usually eat, these are usually the reasons, they're bored, okay, so they just eat out of boredom. So what you can end up doing is, let's say that you just sit down, watch some TV, and the first thing that you do is you kind of get that, oh, fancy a nice nibble of something. And that could be something sweet. It might be a tin of chocolates. It might be peanuts, crisps, whatever your particular thing is. So you just actually eat out of boredom because you're not really hungry. It's just that you want something in your mouth. You want to be doing something. It could be because you're lonely. Um, you have to remember that when we're lonely, when we eat, it actually puts good chemicals into our brains. Or you might be just miserable, tired, or there's 100 of emotional reasons, none of which actually has anything to do with your physical hunger. So when you emotionally eat, your body will never actually feel satisfied by food. So that's why people think that they're never full. Okay, so what I mean by that is that if you are eating emotionally, you're not eating because you're hungry. So therefore, you never feel as if you're sustained. You never feel like you've had enough. You're not fulfilled. So you might have put on weight initially because of a trauma or a difficult time in your life, and you begin to comfort eat to help you through that time. Now, even though that stressful time has passed, you've ended up creating a habit because I can't remember what the figure is. It takes something like 10 days to break a habit and 21 days to create a habit, something like that, or it could be the other way around. But you've created a habit so that it's a dysfunctional way of eating. So whenever you feel upset, lonely, or bored, the first thing that you do is go for the food. So it stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of why we feel what we feel. So part of your journey with me is that we are going to make you face some of these. All right, now that might sound scary to some of you, but trust me, look. Do you want to be on a diet for the rest of your life? I can tell you, you don't. You don't, and now's the time to stop. Now's the time to make a difference. Okay. An emotion is a bit like someone knocking on the door to deliver a message, all right? So if you think that someone's knocking, if the message is urgent, it knocks loudly, and if it's very urgent, it knocks even louder, and if it's even more urgent, you finally you're just going crazy with the sound of this knocking. It gets louder and louder and louder until you open the door or it breaks down. So either way, the emotion will continue to build up in you. It'll come up until it's a done job. Okay? Now, as soon as you open the door by listening to the emotional message and taking the right action, which I will teach you how to do, the emotion will simply go away. The good news is that with this new understanding, you don't have to be a victim of your own emotions anymore. All right, so I'll be sharing some amazing and powerful techniques to help you clear these emotions once and for all. All right, so I want you to just do a little test, okay, before we go on. I want you to think to yourself, am I really hungry or do I just want to change the way I feel? So think about those times when you do turn to food because it's an emotional requirement. Every time you do that, just stop and remember this statement. Am I really hungry or do I just want to change the way I feel? Even just knowing that will change your choices. Right? Now it might be some occasions you'll go, yeah, I feel like crap. I'm going to go and get some food. And then you surrender to that. And that's okay. All right? I'm not here to beat you up. But now that you've got that thought just planted in your mind, it will enable you to just stop and think. And there will be more occasions now where you go, yeah, I do want to change the way that I feel. So what we'll do through the course of this program is we will give you other reasons to feel better. Okay? So pattern number 3, okay, faulty programming. All right, now you probably don't really know what I mean by that, so I'm going to explain that to you before I ask if you fall within this category. So first of all, I've said to you that being overweight is not your fault. It's a natural result of your current mental programming. There's no diet, no pill, no shake or how-to book that will change that for you. The only way to lose weight and keep it off is to go to the unconscious mind and change your relationship with food forever. Okay, so relax. You're definitely not going crazy. You're definitely not broken. And you're not a bad person either. All you've done is developed some habits that haven't been particularly productive for you. Now, this is where the good news is, that once you learn to reprogram your mind, which is what I'll be teaching you to do, it will be just as simple to develop new habits of thinking around food and the way that you act around food, and that will guarantee your success. All right, now look, you don't have to even believe me that that will work. All right, it doesn't matter to me whether you believe me or not, and it doesn't matter to you whether you believe that or not. Okay, just follow the instructions that I'll give you through this 90-day program, and you will not only lose weight, but you'll stop obsessing over food forever. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 4 ways in which you're going to change today the way that you think about food. So I'd like to just give you this quote. Many people don't do well because they don't feel well. Have you noticed that the more you gain weight, the less well you feel? And even if you haven't got a medically diagnosed problem, you actually still don't feel well. And that could be something like you're getting more headaches, your bones ache, your muscles ache, you feel tired, you're less able to move around, you're not motivated, and you just don't feel good. And you're just tired. You know, you're tired of yourself. You don't even want to look at yourself in the mirror. So we're going to do a little exercise right now. So I'd like you to all close your eyes, if you would, and I want you to just go near to the end of your life, okay? And imagine for me, if you will, deciding not to follow my instructions and begin losing weight. So instead, what you've done, you're near the end of your life, and instead you've just carried on trying one diet after another, because it's the bright shiny object, it's the marketing. They've given you promises that you'll lose this much weight in this much time, and you don't have to do anything about it. Okay, so you continue to gain weight and lose all those precious vital years, and you lose more vitality year after year after year. And you can feel yourself getting more and more tired, worn out, bored, emotionally unfulfilled. So ask yourself this question. You can write this down if you want to. If not, that's fine. But just ask yourself this question. What were the consequences of that decision on your health? Do you think you'll live as long? Do you think your life will be so fulfilled? Here's your second question. What were the consequences on your relationships? And I don't just mean relationships with other people. I mean, the most important relationship is the one that you've got with yourself. What was the consequence of that relationship? Your next question. What were the consequences on your sense of well-being? Did you feel good about yourself? Or did you look back on all those years and regret the fact that you actually didn't make the decision to do something about it? And finally, how do you feel in your body? Do you feel worse than you do now? Do you feel more tired? More achy? And of course, you've got age as well. You're going to get older. Okay, so now take a few moments to imagine what it's like if you followed this program. You actually followed it exactly as I asked you to and exactly as I coached you to, because I've guaranteed that you will be successful. You followed it to the letter, and you have easily reached and maintained your target weight. Okay, so while you've got your eyes closed, I want you to now put a smile on your face, because I want you to picture yourself at your ideal weight, perhaps in an outfit you can imagine, going to an event. Perhaps you've got your husband with you, your wife with you, your partner, perhaps a new partner. Visualize what that looks like. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. How good does this feel? And how much energy have you got? What are you able to do? Are you actually living a full life? Are you living a life by design? What clothes are you wearing? And who are you with? And what are you doing? So really have a very, very strong picture of exactly what it will be like when you have lived at your target weight for years and years and years. Okay? So just take that in, take a deep breath, breathe that in. Oh, that feels so good. And now I want you to stop. Just stop thinking about that. So it's time for you guys to decide if you want to hang on to your excuses and your excess weight. You may as well just leave the webinar now, because it's not about people that don't make that decision to make a change today. But if you're ready to finally get that monkey off your back and those inches off your waist, know that what you do from this moment onwards is entirely up to you. So we're not even going to put you on the program yet. We're going to get started right now. All right. Before we do, I've got some questions that I'd like to answer first. So I've got a question here. I've tried lots of different ways to lose weight and none of them have worked. How is your system different? Okay, so the reasons nothing's worked before is you've done the same thing over and over again. What do they say? If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll get the results that you've always got. Now, you might think that you're doing different things, but basically you are doing the same thing. You're doing the same diet, but just a different marketing package. Okay, you've basically systematically starved yourself by dieting, and the only thing you've changed is the recipes. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and expecting different results. That's exactly what we're saying here. Okay. So here's another question. What if I'm really overweight? Can I still use the system, or do I need to diet first? All right. This particular system is in direct odds with every diet you've ever tried. We will be talking about how to be healthy, what the right foods are to eat, because this is okay, I don't want you to think that this is a quick fix. This is a lifestyle change that you're going to make, but it's not a lifestyle change that actually controls you from the outside. It's you controlling from the inside out. Okay, so I'll be advising you of good, healthy nutrition. So that's through your food and through the vitamins and minerals that you'll take as well. Okay, anything or anyone who tries to tell you what, where, and how much you eat is basically teaching you to ignore your body. And if you're overweight, your body is trying to tell you it doesn't like to be ignored. Okay, so the answer is it doesn't matter how much weight you've got to lose. It's basically the same for anybody. All right, this program will work for anyone regardless. Okay, and if you're thinking that you want to look like any of the models in the magazines, forget it. Most of those magazines are airbrushed, and that's not the reality at all. So let's look at what we're going to do about it today. Okay. So the first thing here is, are you sick of being sick and tired, or of being tired? And that might be because you've got a mineral deficiency. For optimum health, the body requires over 90 different nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, and 12 amino acids. Okay, so good nutrition is really the cornerstone of good health. The body can manufacture a few vitamins, but it cannot manufacture minerals or trace elements. So when the body is unable to obtain the nutrients and minerals and trace elements it requires to ensure proper functioning in sufficient amounts, the long-term effects may affect general well-being or lead to conditions associated with inadequate nutrition. So under those circumstances, holistic supplementation may be the perfect answer to maximize the potential for optimum well-being. Now, what we're suggesting here is that you will actually be taking a range of vitamins and minerals, that these are not weight loss vitamins and minerals. These are just vitamins and minerals that you need to start taking to give your body the optimum opportunity for health. Because we're not just talking about you losing a few kilos or a few pounds temporarily. This is permanent. This is going to be a permanent change. Okay. So it's really important to get that right. Now, as far as multivitamins are concerned, what you have to consider is that the food choices that you make, particularly if you are eating very poorly, you're perhaps eating a diet that's high in fats and high in sugars. Now, there are fats that we do need, and we do get sugars from fruit, of course. But if you're doing things like drinking Coca-Cola, I'm sure that that's the devil that's been put on this earth. If you're drinking Coca-Cola, if you're eating chocolate, sweets, candy, excessively fatty foods, fried foods, perhaps you're eating processed foods, I can guarantee that you are not receiving the right levels of vitamins in your system. So, and quite often, even if you do buy um, healthy foods, the foods themselves have such excessive amounts of chemicals on them that that's also depleting the amount of vitamins and minerals that are getting into your system. So, what we have to consider is we have to consider ways of cleaning our food, of making sure that we make the best choices whenever we can. And honestly, it doesn't have to be expensive. You know, there's some beautiful farmers markets that you can go to. You'll be supporting your local community, and really, that's what you need to be thinking about: is buying fresh. Fresh is best. You know, I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about the fact that it's become too convenient to put some frozen like frozen chicken nuggets and frozen chips in the oven for a meal. And in actual fact, it's often quicker to chop up some beautiful, lovely vegetables, to put a curry sauce with it, to boil up some rice, and you've got a beautiful vegetable curry, for instance. And this, by the way, is not removing all of your meats. It's not removing fish. We're still actually going to be eating fish and meats, but we've got a food plan that's designed for you as well. Okay. So, your food choices will determine the nutrients your bodies receive, in particular the necessary vitamins and minerals. Vitamins are a group of organic compounds and are essential in the daily diet in the right quantities for normal metabolism, cardiovascular function, growth, and physical well-being. Minerals are an inorganic substance needed in the body for good health. Minerals work with vitamins in the body to ensure maximum absorption and functionality. So we're going to be talking about the right level of multivitamins that you need, antioxidants, and mineral compounds. Okay, so let's move on to the 6-step formula. The first thing, now, by the end of this webinar, you can actually choose to come onto a 90-day program, which is basically a kickstart program, because some of you are not going to get to your ideal goal weight in 90 days because of the amount of weight that you have to lose. However, if you decide not to join me on this 90-day program, then if you follow the first 4 of these steps, I can guarantee that you will lose weight in the next 14 days. All right, so you can go away and you can try that, and then you can come back to me and join the 90-day program if you want to. So the first step is to always eat when you feel hungry. So now what we mean by that is that what we tend to do is we tend to kind of get very busy and we tend to miss meals. So what happens, it's a bit like you're putting your body into starvation mode again, which means that you're actually teaching your body to go into survival mode. So it's a bit like a camel. You know, a camel will store fat because they don't know how long it's going to be before they get their next meal. So when you starve yourself and you don't eat when you're hungry, your body does exactly the same thing. So when you're trying to lose weight for a while, your body is it's kind of got stuck in this fat storage mode. So it thinks that there's a famine, and the response will go into survival mode, and it stores the fat in your cells, and it's kind of saying to itself, oh, I'll store the fat just in case. And over time, your body begins to leach more fat from whatever foods it eats. So there might only be a few grams of fat in that kind of Weight Watchers lasagna, but if you're eating at meal times instead of when you're hungry, your body will do whatever it takes to grab the fat and put it where it can store it, generally on your stomach if you're a guy, and on your hips and thighs if you're a woman. Okay, so we really don't want to be in a situation where you're starving yourself. Okay, so always eat when you feel hungry. That's the most important thing. So I want you to imagine for a minute what I like to call the scale of feast or famine. Okay, now the feast or famine scale is just actually considering, okay, so the first level is if you're hungry, you might get to the point of feeling physically faint, or you're ravenous, or fairly hungry, slightly hungry, or you're just neutral. You're okay. And then on the other side of the scale, you've got that you're pleasantly satisfied, you're full, you're stuffed, you're bloated, or you're nauseous. Okay, now we definitely don't want to get into the nausea stage, that's for sure. So if you just think for a minute, you can close your eyes again. If you think of a time where you have had a really, really big meal or excessive amount to drink, like soft, fizzy, sugar-laden drinks, they actually can make you feel quite full up and kind of bloat you out. All right, so usually Christmas dinner, that's what I like to imagine, that Christmas dinner day where you've eaten all the turkey, the roast potatoes, all the vegetables, the Christmas pudding, the mince pies, the dates, the crisps, the peanuts, the gin and tonics, the champagne and the chocolates. I noticed in the shops that they're selling the tins of chocolates already for Christmas. Okay, and you've got to that point and you're sitting on the sofa and you're absolutely stuffed and everybody ends up falling asleep. Now, I want you to just imagine on the other end of the scale, feeling really, really hungry. You know those times when you're in a meeting and your stomach starts gurgling and because you've missed a meal, you've been too rushed and you don't get some food? Just saying it is making me feel hungry now. Okay, so now can you just experience for me the power of the mind there, because you're able to think about being hungry and think about being full. So this is what we're going to do, is we're going to get the mind to control how you are monitoring and measuring the amounts of foods that you're going to eat. Okay, so the second part of the formula is eat what you want. And I've put in brackets there within reason, because I'm not going to suggest that you go out and buy half a dozen donuts and go and eat those, right? So eat what you want and not what you think you should. Now, there is a very, very good reason for that, okay? And again, just to give you an example of this, there was an experiment done on a group of toddlers in the 1930s. And these toddlers had unlimited 24/7 access to a range of foods, which ranged from ice cream to spinach. Okay, essentially, it allowed them over a period of 30 days to create their own diet. Right now, you would think that children would just go for the sweets. Yeah. Now, the result was really interesting, because what happened was each one of them chose different foods at different times. So each child wound up eating what was considered to be a balanced diet over the course of the month. That's it. That's fascinating to me, because actually the body knows what it needs. Right? When you really start listening to it, the body actually really knows what it needs. So if you think about a pregnant woman, you might have been pregnant yourself, or it might be your wife, your spouse. The reason pregnant women get cravings from everything from ice cream to pickled onions or even coal is that their body is telling her exactly what is needed to build that baby. All right. So the minute that you tell yourself not to eat a certain food, usually because you've been told it's bad for you, you upset the natural balance of your relationship with it. So rather than wanting it less, the forbidden food becomes much, much more attractive to you. Have you ever found that? if you think to yourself, right, I'll go on a diet, and yes, I'll stop eating. I'll stop eating biscuits because that's really bad for me, and I'm a bad person for eating those biscuits. And I'll start the diet on Monday. It's called the classic Monday diet. And of course, the minute you do that, the weekend before you get to that Monday, you gorge on those biscuits because suddenly you've increased the desire to have those biscuits. Come the Monday, you're on the diet, but you have now increased your desire for those biscuits. So you're thinking about the goddamn biscuits all the time. You're thinking, oh, just have one little biscuit, it won't hurt, that won't be too bad. Okay, because you've told your mind that you can't have it, you immediately want it. All right, so I'm going to teach you how to stop those cravings from happening. Okay, so what I'm suggesting to you is if you do want something, okay, then you're going to eat it. All right. However, as soon as you've finished on this webinar, I do want you to throw out any foods that don't inspire you to eat it. Now, what I mean by that is that chuck out the diet sodas, throw away the low-fat yogurts, okay, because this is another issue that we have. You go on a diet and you think that you've got to have low-fat this or low-calorie that, low-fat yogurts, things like if you've got sugar-free things in your fridge or in your cupboard, just get rid of the things. They're highly processed and they're not going to do you any good at all. So just get rid of those. Now, if you think to yourself, oh, I fancy a bit of pasta, go for it. If you fancy some cake and ice cream calling you, go for it. All right. As long as you're hungry, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. So from this day forward, nothing is off limits to you ever. And if you really want to say no to something, say it to the purveyors of sugar-free, low-carb, cardboard-tasting crap. That's the truth. Okay? Now, you're probably going, what? I can eat anything. I can eat anything. Yeah, but this is a psychological game here. As soon as you have been given permission that you can eat anything, you're not even going to want to eat the stuff. That's the beauty about this. Okay? Okay, so be aware of how you eat. So, as an overweight person, and this is something that I've observed a lot, overweight people tend to put a lot on their plate to start with, a lot of food, because they think to themselves, I need that much to feel full up. The second thing is that they quite often will sit in front of the TV and they'll eat their food. And then thirdly, they will eat the food really, really quickly. Okay. So what this means is that you're not really conscious of what you're eating. You're not aware of what you're eating. So it sounds really, really weird, but what I want you to do is I want you to really slow down how you're eating. And just for this next 14 days, I want you to do things like switch off your phone or put it somewhere where it's not near you, sit at the table, don't put the television on, and don't read anything when you're eating. All right, so just sit and eat consciously because I want you to train your body to recognize that full up feeling. All right, so the full up feeling is going to come before you've finished your plate, but you can't do that if you're not eating consciously. So the other thing that you're going to do is that as you eat, you're going to take a mouthful and then you're going to put your knife and fork down and you're going to chew it and chew it and chew it and chew it and savor the taste and enjoy the wonderful textures, all the sensations through each mouthful. And this will give you the ability to really, really enjoy the food that you're eating. Now, over a period of time, your food will taste different. Okay? And again, you won't know that now, but your food will taste different. Okay? So it's really important to put that knife and fork down between every mouthful. And this gives you the opportunity to notice what your body is doing. Okay? Now, of course, I often get the question asked, well, what if I'm eating a sandwich? Well, if you're eating a sandwich, take a bite, put it down. All right? If you're eating a bowl of soup, take a sip, put the spoon down. okay, but allow the tastes to actually go into your mouth and enjoy those tastes, okay? So the fourth thing is, this is really, really important. The minute that you think you're full, you must stop. Because with step number 3, you have become much more conscious of how you're eating, you will recognize that you are getting full up, okay? So the minute that you think that you're full, you really do have to stop. Now, it might be that 10 minutes later you'll get hungry. Go back to the first rule, always eat when you feel hungry. Eat what you want, not what you think you should. Be aware of how you eat. Okay, and that might happen to start with until your body starts getting used to the amount of food that you're going to eat. Another great experiment was done. It was a really, really good experiment. They actually went and cooked breakfast in one of these greasy spoon cafes. And in this greasy spoon cafe, they gave everyone the full Monty, the eggs, the bacon, the sausages, the black pudding, the beans, the fried bread, the mushrooms, the full Monty, and these were piled up on the plates. And they saw what they were getting. And the truck drivers were really happy about the fact that they were getting these amazingly cooked breakfasts. So what they did is they sat down, but before they started to eat, they blindfolded the truck drivers, and they were told to eat by picking up their knife and fork and putting it down. So they were eating, and then they said, right, that's it, I'm done, I'm full up. When they took the blindfolds off, the majority of them had eaten 3/4 of what was actually on the plate. Now that's a big, huge difference, and they were all amazed and shocked that they actually hadn't cleaned their plate. So just saying that, you don't have to belong to the Clean the Plate club. All right, our mums used to tell us, if you don't eat the greens, think about all those starving Biafrans. My mum used to say to me. Well, to be honest, the food that I waste on my plate goes nowhere near a Biafran or an Indian or someone in Somalia. It goes in the bin. All right. So it doesn't make any difference. Just don't put so much on your plate. And that's what you're going to find, is that you won't actually be wanting to put so much food on your plate. So do we have any questions at the moment about that? Okay. So no questions. Excellent. Now, so like I said, with the 4 steps that I've just given you, you can leave the webinar now, and you are guaranteed to lose weight within the next 14 days. Okay, however, if you really do want to make a lifestyle change for yourselves, you want to really start thinking about eliminating harmful chemicals from your groceries, home, and your personal care. Now, what this means is that what's happening to our bodies these days is that our hormones are being disrupted by the amount of chemicals that are being ingested by us. So there is evidence now to show that a number of the chemicals will force our bodies to hold on to excessive weight. All right. So wherever possible, you want to get rid of, you want to change your products so that they are chemical-free products. And again, I can guide you with that as the program goes on. Okay, so we have a weight management program which is for 90 days. Now the weight loss program is for 90 days, and it includes a number of things, which is not least of which that you will lose weight, but it is a lifestyle change for you, and it is designed to help you be successful right the way through this whole program. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to deal with today before we finish this webinar is we have cravings that come up from time to time. Now, just for a bit of fun, we're going to bust some of your cravings today. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about a food that you absolutely love, and you feel at this moment that you couldn't possibly do without. That when you're feeling at your emotional worst, this is usually the food or the drink that you turn to. So it could be a bottle of Coca-Cola, it could be cream cake, it could be crisps, peanuts, biscuits, cheese, alcohol, whatever it is. So type in the question box for me what your cravings, what your cravings are. Okay, mine would tend to be cheese if I have a craving. It tends to be cheese that I go for. So we've got bread. Bread's a big one, of course. Carbs, toast. We've got wine, chocolate, bars of chocolate, Coca-Cola, donuts. Amazing donuts. But you know what? They're all real for you. Okay, so I want you to really think about that particular food, and on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest, what level are you at with your craving just by thinking about the food? When you think about that food, you think, oh God, yes, I must have that. Definitely, definitely. Give me the donuts. Give me the donuts. Go get me some chocolate. So scale of 1 to 10. So we've got some 9s, 8s, 7s, 10s. Okay, excellent. So now what I want you to do is I want you to get 2 fingers of one of your hands, doesn't matter which one, and I want you to tap with those fingers about 10 times under your collarbone. All right, so those 2 bones that are sticking out at the top of your chest, just about an inch down, sort of near the middle, but say from the middle of your chest about 2 inches or an inch across towards the outside underneath the collarbone. So 2 inches down from the collarbone, and just tap about 10 times, thinking about the food that you really, really desire. Okay, now tap underneath the eye. So on the bone that's underneath the eye, tap there about 10 times, thinking about that food you really desire. Now tap on the collarbone again 10 times. Okay, now place your other hand in front of you, and I want you to tap on the back of your hand between the ring finger and the little finger. Continue thinking about your food that you're craving and follow these instructions. So close your eyes and open them. Keeping your head still, keep tapping and look down to the right, then look down to the left. Keep tapping and rotate your eyes around 360 degrees clockwise and now 360 degrees anti-clockwise. So remember to keep thinking about the food you were craving as you're doing this. Now hum the first few lines of Happy Birthday out loud. So whether you're on your own or you've got a group of people around you, just hum. Now count out loud 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, hum the first few lines of Happy Birthday. Okay, so stop. And now check again, think about the food that you were craving. You might feel a little bit, some people feel a little bit dizzy with this or fizzing. Right, think about that food you were craving and then type in the number again of where you are on that scale of 1 to 10. And you should find that your desire has actually reduced. Now some people say to me, oh yeah, it's because you distracted me. No, it's not. This actually works, and you don't have to believe it works, it just works. Okay, if it hasn't completely gone, all you do is repeat that sequence until it goes completely. Okay, so that's one way that you can actually get rid of cravings that you've got. So you can use this anytime. Now, for some of you, this will be permanent. That's done. It's done. you don't have to do it again. Some of you might need to do it a few times, but that's okay. So whenever the craving comes up, you just need to do that. All right. So I've got twos, threes coming through. I've got 0. Well done. Fantastic. Okay, so now that you've busted one of your cravings, we're going to talk about the weight management program. So this is what's included in the program. There's a one-to-one Skype conversation with me to work through any personal issues that you've got. So I want to get to know you so that I can really help you in the best way possible. I'm going to be sending you a video every week delivered to your inbox, and these videos are going to be about mindset, because this exercise that we've just done, the craving exercise, I've got lots and lots and lots of those that I'm going to share with you over the period of 90 days. There'll also be some yoga videos. There'll be some other types of exercise videos, which, by the way, you're not going to suddenly start having to run 14K. At all. It's just something that you can do gradually. We're going to talk about healthy eating and sending you some recipes. And also I'm going to be sending you some meditation and hypnosis. So you'll become part of the Love Life community group for accountability. So within that group, there'll be other experts that will be able to answer your questions about anything that's health related. And if the experts are not there, we'll always find out the answer for you. Okay, so just to let you know as well, this program is for those of you that are in Australia and in the UK as well, and we actually have someone on the ground to support you in the UK. So you'll be having a Skype conversation with them instead. Okay, now then we will look at nutrifying your body and detoxing your body as the first stage. Okay, because I do want you to have a good set of vitamins and minerals in your body. I want your body to be clean, and even just going through that cleaning process, you're going to lose weight. And you'll do phase 1 for 30 days. Phase 2 is where you really start to kickstart this process and lose fat. Okay, so phase 3 is then talking about maintenance. Now, some of you will need longer than 90 days to lose weight. But what will happen is you've detoxed, you've kick-started, and you've done fat loss, and now we go on to maintenance. Okay, now what happens is after the 90 days, you then go on to a maintenance program after that so that you stay within the community and you've still got accountability. Okay, you'll be receiving a food planner and a goal and progress chart as well. And also, you can take weights and measurements if you want to. We can do that. But really, your guide is going to be how you feel and how your clothes feel on you. And sometimes do you ever get that situation where you feel like your clothes are looser, but then when you jump on the scales, it doesn't look like you've lost any weight? Well, that's just all part of the process. And I wouldn't get too hung up on weighing yourself. In fact, this is one of my rules. Okay, if you start doing the program, you can weigh yourself at the beginning of the program, but you're not allowed to weigh yourself for 2 whole weeks. All right, so I definitely don't want you to be the morning weighers. Okay, don't get up in the morning and weigh yourself, because your weight fluctuates throughout the day as well. All right, so all you're doing is screwing your own mind up. So it's not worth it. So you're going to receive a weight management program guide as well, and that is a 90-day program, which is $297. Like I say, you will have the one-on-one Skype time. You'll have accountability and all of those videos going into your inbox every week. So that's actually just less than $97 per month. And then we'll actually do the conversion for those of you in the UK as well, which is probably about half of what you're seeing there. So it's a no-brainer, really. And then the products that you need to purchase will actually guide you into what are the products that you need to get. So if you want to join this program, here is the code for you: http://bit.ly/WLP90D. and I'll actually put that in the chat box for you so that you've got that, and you can just click on this link. Okay. Now, what I want you to do as well is just click on that link and sign up for the 90-day program. What I want you to do as well is I want you to email me. I will be notified when you come on, but you might have some questions beforehand. That's absolutely fine. So just send me an email, and I want you to all send me an email anyway, because we're going to book you in for your one-on-one consultation. So that's the end of the webinar today. I really, really hope that you found this useful, informative, and I hope that now the pressure is off. You don't have to go onto some fancy schmancy weight loss diet to be able to lose weight. You just need to be sensible and thoughtful. So we're going to become thoughtful and conscious of how we are living our lives by design. My name is Sunni Barnett, and I look forward to being your lifestyle architect over the next 90 days. Lots of love to you all, and thank you for coming to this webinar.